Good evening, Fáilte Rove Arish. You're very welcome back here to St Eugene's Cathedral Hall in Derry for the third of our four conversations, chats in this Catholic Schools Week 2022. We've already had someone who's recently retired as a principal. Last night we had two sixth formers. And this evening we're looking at the role of a governor in a Catholic school. And I'm delighted to welcome here this evening Mrs. Siobhan McIntyre, who's chair of the Board of Governors in St Joseph's Boys' School up in the Cregan here. A very experienced nurse, both at practitioner level and at management level as well on a regional basis. So thank you very much for coming along this evening. We're just here to chat about the role of governors and obviously the commitment that you, as a current chair of governors, have to the school. Tell us a little bit about St Joseph's Boys' School.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here this evening, and I'm very privileged and honoured to be involved in St Joseph's, particularly as a chair. It's a remarkable school. St Joseph's has been very much part of the community of the parish and indeed Cregan since 1963, and it has seen the passing through of many of our young men in the city, and it has grown in the time that I have been involved, as initially as a parent governor almost 20 years ago to now, to a school that has a great rich tapestry of abilities and skills, and something that I witness every time that I go in is the remarkable commitment of the staff and the leadership of Martina McKeown, the principal at the minute there, and her senior management team, to the support that they give to us as governors, as well as the focus they put on improving the educational outcomes for young people here at the school and attaining the mission statement that the school has: achievement for all.
Achievement for all, whatever their talents or challenges might be.
Absolutely. The school has, it's a non-selective school. We have 600 pupils there, and the needs of the school, the pupils are quite diverse. So yes, a full range of abilities, which brings a great richness to the school, and that is catered for in the environment of St Joseph's, that is very nurturing, enables growth of individuals that go to the school, as well as promoting the development of faith development of young people in the everyday life of the school. What I notice is the respect that the boys have for each other, and all abilities that are at the school.
And the respect the staff have for the pupils too, by the sound of things.
Absolutely. One of the rules of the school that is chanted quite often is ready, respect, safe.
Ready, respect, safe.
So
could you unpack those just a little bit?
Absolutely. I suppose if I was a teacher, I'd probably explain them a bit better, but being ready for your day, being prepared for your day, the meet and greet of the staff when the pupils come into the school, big pastoral element of the school. You'll often see Mrs. McKeown at the front of the school with the other teachers, senior teachers, meeting and greeting the pupils as they come in, so that they are ready, they're prepared, they're prayerful as they start their day, their morning prayer, their morning assemblies, etc. And then the respect of each other, of their environment, of the school community, and the teachers and their peers, and being safe with each other, keeping the children safe when they're in the school, and as well as that, the wraparound pastoral policies that we have to ensure that all of the children are treated with that respect and involving their parents in their education.
So by the sound of things, you're saying that the atmosphere, that sort of intangible ethos of the school, that sense of who it is as a community, is an important element in helping the young people to achieve.
I would say so, and you'll hear a lot of people saying, schools are very pupil-centred. You know, schools should be pupil-centred. That should be at the centre of everything that we do, as well as what we oversee as governors. I would also say that schools are God-centred in terms of how you live out your day in your school, what you learn about your faith, what you learn about yourself, how you develop as an individual, and the values of the gospel, how those are actually transported in your day at school, to learn to live like that and to learn those values and improve yourself as a person as well.
And learn about forgiveness and reconciliation and community and service
joy,
and all
joy and celebration
joy,
is very important, and acceptance and being very grateful for things that we have as well. You see that all the time.
I see the nurse coming through here, even in your role as chair of governors, because obviously you come from a caring perspective, having been a nurse. So tell us, what do governors do in schools? I mean, it's an entirely unpaid role. It's a purely voluntary role.
It's a voluntary role, and for anybody that is watching, that feels that they have something to give back, I would say give it a go. Schools are always looking for people in their local community with different experiences and skills to come on board. The role of a governor, who we are, we represent a range of different branches. So you would have your trustees who are representing your parishes and your Catholic maintained schools. You then have your representatives from the Department of Education, who are nominated by them. You can register your interest with them. You have the representatives of the Education Authority, who oversees and delivers in the school budgets for schools. And then you have your parent governor, who's very important, who is normally elected by the other parents of the school. And then you have your teacher governor, and you have your secretary to the governors, which is the principal. So in all, you could have about 8 to 10 people sitting around the table, and everybody, the role of the chair is to build a team of governors that will meet the needs of the school in terms of what we can bring to curriculum committees, so what we can bring to the development of budget plans. A school, a lot of people are amazed by the amount of business acumen you have in a school around your development plans, your budget plans, your policies, your procedures, your statutory obligations. So if you have people who are coming in from business, ex-principals, retired principals, we have people from the Catechetical Centre, which is great, that give you that sense of, well, let's look at it this way, I can support you with this. We have a range of committees, and most of the governors, depending on their experience, sit on those committees.
So obviously the principal runs the school. The principal and the staff do the work in the school.
The boss,
whereas your job as governors is to oversee the direction, to hold people to account, to challenge, to encourage.
And support. I always think of us as scaffolding around the school.
Okay.
I think the school itself is a community within a community, and we are like the scaffolding around the school, like the community. So we're there to support them, we're there to encourage, to help them celebrate successes, to help advise and support the principal and the senior management team on decisions about the school, oversee the targets. See, there's always a thing that I always say is, well, what went well this year when we're doing our annual reports? And we talk about what went well, and then we say, well, what would be even better if we did this? And then the suggestions come in from different members of staff, heads of departments. The enthusiasm is always there with ideas. So we then discuss what we feel is a good way to go forward, and it's a matter of having your strategic vision for your school supported with your
So
governors.
you're very much focusing on the strategy, and whereas a principal has to focus on the day-to-day running of the school, your job is to ensure there's a plan. And well, tell us, what gives you greatest joy? You've been a governor for a good number of years now. First of all, as a parent governor, and now acting as chair. What do you love about being involved in the education of teenagers? What gives you the greatest joy?
There's two things, particularly, I suppose, that stand out in my mind. I love being at prize giving. I love celebrating success of young people. I think, it's like dreams can't come true. Dreams will ensure that your future's out there. And to see those boys, and on occasions girls, when girls join the sixth form, coming up onto the stage to receive their prizes, and their mummies and their daddies and their grandparents and their guardians standing up and clapping, and the joy and the celebration of that for me is amazing. And around the assembly hall you'll see the teachers smiling from ear to ear and saying, that's the product of what we're about. That's what we have done. We have created good, rounded individuals here. And there they are, off and ready, to take on the world. And they all come back at prize giving, which is a lovely thing as well. We get past pupils who come in, very successful businessmen, sportsmen. We've had priests who are past pupils who have come in and addressed the school, addressed the boys, and have said what being a St. Joseph's boy has meant for them. That for me is tremendous. I think any of the boys that you will talk to, including my own who've been at the school, will say, I'm a St. Joseph's boy, and they're very, very proud of it. And I think any of the members of staff would say the same. The second thing that brings great joy to me is, as a role of a governor, we're there to interview the staff. We are part of the recruitment selection procedure for the staff. And when I see teachers coming in and delivering on an interview, their skills, their ability, their leadership, and they come in and they say, I'm a woman of faith, I'm a man of faith. And they're never asked that question, but that's what they're about. And they talk about the Catholic ethos as part of their vocation as a teacher.
Which adds something to the role they play. Which
is so central to the role that they're doing in a Catholic school. And I think for me, you actually know when they go out, and quite often when we look at teachers coming out, I mean, if you could employ all of them, we would love to do it. And it's a very difficult job. I find it very difficult, picking, well, who do you think was best, and who they all shine. And, that's why we always have feedback. And again, as we all know, it's very important to know how you're doing. That, that self-esteem of the staff is important. And the resilience of the staff, the teaching staff and the non-teaching staff as well, is remarkable in terms of how they look after the boys. The boys are always put first, and we can talk about curriculum, we can talk about targets, but the pastoral care of a school is what we see as governors when we go in and we sense that. And I know it's Catholic Schools Week, and we're all having a big emphasis on our daily literature, and we're talking about particular themes. We see that every day when we go into our schools.
I have a sense that there's a remarkable community within the school. I sense that there's a commitment to a shared vision, and I also have the sense that there's a lot of links between the school and the wider community. Yes. Oh, and I presume those links are important in education as well.
I mean, they are, and we learn an awful lot about what goes on, outside of the school. The extracurricular, big emphasis on sport, and a big emphasis on local clubs. The youth service links with the youth service, and also the links with charitable organisations like St. Joseph's has Tracker as one of their main. They would be their key fundraising topic that they would have, and there's great competition about the boys when they're doing the fundraising for Tracker. So as well as that, Martina was talking to me yesterday about how the boys would maybe be engaged with particularly older people with dementia, doing some, volunteering as well. So, they're reaching out there in the communities are reaching in to us. We are trying to widen that out now more with local businesses so that we can get experiences for young boys to try out what they think might be a career for them, and also the development of the sixth form, encouraging boys to come back and pursue a trajectory into university with those different options. And it's about getting businesses to come in, getting universities to come in, getting people from the community, workers. We have politicians come in, speak to them. Politics is a big topical subject in the school. And that's all part of the community, so that everybody experiences, well, that's out there, and let's bring them in and talk to them.
And I presume, as well as those links with community, the school is an important asset for the community.
Absolutely.
I presume for some of the students, probably in any schools I was involved in, school is an important, stable, dependable part of their lives, where they may have struggles to come from. So, and I imagine a strong school like your own is a huge benefit for the community.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the challenges are, we need to get everybody to come with us in the right direction, and we are very fortunate that there's a good connection and engagement with parents as well, and our local parish as well. And Father Lagan is our school chaplain. He's there regularly within the school to help with that. But I think the environment of the school, because it's a hub of activity. A big thing for us at the minute is and I'm going to put a plug in it, we're going to try and we're trying to get a 4G pitch for the school. We were turned down by the Education Authority, unfortunately, but that hasn't stopped us trying other avenues to see if we can pull a business case together to try and get that working. So we have pulled in all the resources of our community and the local voice as well as the pupil voice to say why that is important for us, because it could be used by the community as well.
You obviously you have very high expectations for everybody. I mean, achieve was one of those verbs you gave me at the beginning. And clearly you really want to do the very best for everybody. Not starting off with the assumption, he's a waste of space.
No.
But for everybody, even those who get into trouble,
yes,
you want to offer hope.
Yes, and we all make mistakes, don't we? We all make mistakes, and sometimes we have to have those difficult conversations. But as I always say, we all make mistakes. We all deserve a second chance, and everybody has the right to be happy at school. And if we can make that happen for you, and you can help us, well, it'll work. And it's about asking those questions of, what is it you want to do? What is it you want from school? And here's what we can do to help you do that. Now, in saying that, we obviously have to have our discipline procedures, and the boys are very.
And governors are very much involved in that.
Very much involved in that, and very, very careful about how that is executed in the school. I would say the pastoral element of the school is exceptional. But it can challenge staff. It can challenge staff at times, and that way we need to make sure that the support that we have in place for the staff is there, as well as for the pupils, because I talk about the pearl hunters, and when you think of a pearl, and sometimes the outer shell, and it needs a bit of jiggling to get into it, that's sometimes hard to do if you're against that all the time.
That's a lovely image. There's a beauty in there, even if the outside seems to be hard.
Yes, it's the perseverance, and I think we're all relationship learners, and I think the relationships that are built in school are things that you carry with you for life, and that's very important. I would say a lot of the pupils in St. Joseph's will remember a lot of the staff that have carried them and supported them and educated them and help them develop their faith along the way.
And being good role models.
Absolutely.
I think we all know that there are those who would say get rid of Catholic education, that it's a bad influence in Northern Ireland, it's part of a divided past. I have the sense that you think that the faith identity of the school actually is a huge asset when it comes to helping young people flourish and achieve.
Well, I think if you were standing at an assembly address of the principal and you listened to the messages that are going out to the boys every day, and you ask them what they learned at school, they will tell you back, about the messages of assembly and the importance of the values of the gospel of that day and what they're about. But I think more than that, Catholic schools are very similar in terms of how they're delivered, how they're made up, the different curriculums that we have. But there's something distinctive about a Catholic school and the ethos of the school. And the ethos is everywhere in the school. And for me, I think the importance of understanding where you are in your faith, how you can develop your faith, and how you can act out the values, and know that if you have God at the centre of your life, you'll never be disappointed. I think that is very important, and it's something that I have always felt. Whether I'm celebrating something or I'm worried about something, or I need that. I suppose support for myself. I always say that to myself. If I have God at the centre of my life, I'll never be disappointed. And He hasn't let me down yet.
That's quite some note to finish on.
Yeah,
we could go on for a lot longer, but I think we're getting to the end of our time this evening. Siobhan, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Not just the job that you've done as a volunteer governor in St. Joseph's Boys School, but also the passion that you bring to it, and the huge sense of pride you have in the staff and their commitment, and pride to the boys for whom the school ultimately exists. So thank you for giving us that wisdom and testimony. I hope you could inspire some others to say, I could contribute to one of those as well. So thank you so much for being here this evening. Thank you everybody for joining us. I hope that's helped you to understand a little bit better something of how schools function, the role of governors, and how this particular chair of governors has a passion both for the pupils and for God, and believing that working together they can help all of them to live life to the fullest. Thank you for being with us this evening. I hope you can join us again tomorrow evening for our fourth and final talk. Good night. Slán agus Banat. God bless.